In the Middle East, joining us now is the Israeli ambassador to the United States, Michael Herzog. Ambassador, thank you very much for joining us on this Sunday. We appreciate it. I want to start with this. We know that Israel is entering this new phase of this war, this new phase of the ground invasion. Are we to understand, Ambassador, that this is happening now because perhaps the talks to release hostages has essentially fallen apart?
Well, we are expanding our operations inside Gaza to apply pressure on Hamas as part of our strategic goal of ultimately destroying the Hamas war machine. We gave a chance to talks through the Qataris and others to see if we can get out hostages. Ultimately, it was obvious to everybody involved that Hamas was just playing for time. They were not serious about this. So we are applying pressure now inside Gaza, but I still hope that our pressure will encourage them to release hostages as we move and press them on and on.
Well, let's talk this through, because I know the two goals for Israel right now is to destroy Hamas and to also release these hostages to rescue them. Some of the families in Israel of these hostages are expressing some anxiety that their loved ones are also perhaps caught up in the middle of this bombardment that we're seeing right now. The AP is reporting that some of these families are open to the idea of exchanging Palestinian prisoners for their loved ones. Where is Israel on that right now?
Right now, there is no serious willingness on the other side to release hostages. So this is unfortunately and tragically theoretical. As I say, we welcome the release of hostages and we give any opportunity to that end. We believe that our pressure on Hamas inside Gaza may even encourage such an outcome. But I think right now, maybe going into a public discussion about under what terms one could release hostages is unhelpful to the real efforts which are being made behind the scenes to release hostages.
Right. President Biden is expected to have a phone call with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu any moment now. We await that call. I know that getting Americans out of Gaza is a huge priority for the State Department and the Biden administration. I've been in contact with an American couple stuck in Gaza right now from Boston who have a 1-year-old child. They are practically starving. They're thirsty. They've run out of food and water. How is Israel helping to release those dual citizens, Americans stuck in Gaza right now?
First of all, the phone call already took place a short while ago. The two leaders are talking constantly to each other. As for getting Americans and other foreigners out of Gaza, we are totally on board and have close cooperation, coordination with the US government. The Egyptians are on board, and as National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said this morning publicly, it is Hamas that is holding up and preventing that from happening.
Okay. Israel has recalled its diplomats from Turkey, a huge move after Erdogan there practically called Israel a war criminal, saying that you're committing war crimes during this war. The goal, I know, for Israel has long been to normalize relations with regional partners. Is that goal at risk here?
Let's make a distinction between those countries who normalize relations with Israel under the Abraham Accords and others in the region who are quietly telling us, go and destroy Hamas. Publicly, they are more cautious, but they are telling us Hamas is our enemy as well and the enemy of peace in the region and stability. In the case of Turkey, unfortunately, President Erdogan has gone all out against Israel, putting all the blame on us and justifying Hamas. This is nothing that we can accept. Let's not forget who we're talking about. We're talking about a jihadi, barbaric organization that waged an all-out war against Israel and kidnapped over 200 people and butchered 1,400 people. How can you defend such an organization? This is unfathomable to us.
Yeah, you can't. And my last question quickly, Ambassador, there's a humanitarian crisis unfolding in Gaza, communication blackout over the weekend, although I believe some telephone lines and internet are coming back up. Thousands of people, we have video of this, broke into an aid warehouse because they were looking for flour, food, anything to feed their families. I know you've previously said that you were working hard to create some sort of a humanitarian zone, a corridor to get aid in. Where are we on that?
We are working very, very hard in close coordination with all relevant UN agencies and with the US government and US Special Coordinator to provide humanitarian solutions. We are very mindful of the humanitarian challenges. It is our duty and interest to make sure that civilians, innocent civilians, are not harmed, and we're trying to get them out of harm's way, contrary to Hamas. Today, we allowed in 48 truckloads of humanitarian assistance, and we're going to increase more and more. In 1 or 2 days, I believe we'll be able to get 100 trucks and over into Gaza, and we're tracking very closely the humanitarian needs of Gaza in terms of food, medical supplies, water, and all that to provide solutions. This is a tragic situation. It is a war that was imposed on us. We did not initiate it, but we have to go after Hamas. Everybody understands that.
Yeah.
And we call on them not to put civilians in harm's way. We're trying to get them out of harm's way. And you'll see more and more solutions in the coming day, including floating hospitals, field hospitals, and a lot more humanitarian assistance going into Gaza.